Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel that we call Get on the Road with Clem and Roxy. Today I'm doing another episode of Garage Therapy. I want to show you my current motovlogging setup and then show you the setup I'm planning to change to. I want to show you some of the unique challenges as it pertains to setting up a motovlogging helmet, especially when it's a Motor helmet and when you're riding a full fairing motorcycle, such as our two Harleys. So first, let's roll the intro. Welcome back to the channel. First thing I wanted to show you is our current motovlogging setup, which dates back to about 2014. When we were living in India, I bought this GoPro Hero 4. I had to find some way to record our audio that was convenient for me and Roxy, and I wanted to record both of our voices. At that time, we've always been using the Sena style headsets with the microphones in each of our helmets so that we could communicate as we rode. But in addition, I wanted to be able to record both of our voices. So after research, again back in 13 and 14, I came up with this Sena GP10. It's a device that mounts on the back of your GoPro. It allows you to communicate via Bluetooth from your Sena headset and record your audio straight into the GoPro video. And so we've been using this on and off ever since our time in India. And so, so I'm riding back down to Goa. But anyway, we've been out on the beach a little bit. Last night we found a nice little restaurant on the beach called Montego Bay. It's actually a little resort that's a little more upscale, but you can go back to some of our previous videos when we were riding our Royal Enfield in India and recording both of our voices, and allowed us to do dual vlogging.
This Royal Enfield ride, we got probably 16 riders, maybe 13, 14 bikes. Not quite sure where we are. I know we're down south toward Motovlogging, maybe Satara. It's like a Triumph Riders Club.
Okay, this is the route.
This must be for breakfast.
This is the route we went last time from Motovlogging to the lake.
Are you sure? I don't think so.
I think so.
My Memphis Shade handguards video is the most recent upload to YouTube, where I was using this Sena Bluetooth backpack on my GoPro Hero 4. So that would be a good example of the use of this device and then the audio quality. If you go back even further, I've got some videos where we were riding through Yosemite.
What a view.
Yeah, it's awesome. Huh?
Sure is.
It's awesome. You know, when I see this beautiful, some people are rocking.
They're climbing the rocks.
Yeah.
See, they got a rope.
Yeah, I see that.
Serious climbers, huh?
Yeah, that's a real, rock climber.
Yeah, for sure.
So now I'm kind of lifting my visor up, some kind of motion so that you can see it. Now this is trying to test my mic with the wind noise, and so I'm curious of how the quality is going to be, either good or bad. We'll see. Close it down, we'll check it out again.
On our yellow street glide with a full fairing, and on those videos I was using a top mount in order to be able to see up over the fairing of the motorcycle. That was the other challenge that I had to face when I was trying to ride two different style motorcycles and putting the camera in a place where it would record a good point of view and not be staring straight at the fairing. So those Yosemite, Sequoia, all of those videos are recorded with the Sena backpack with me and Roxy riding and recording both of our voices. So those are good examples there. So my intent is to show you how I've mounted my cameras, top and on the chin, as well as how we use the Bluetooth style wireless recording. I want to show you my new configuration I plan to go to when I'm riding the Harley. It'll likely be up here on top, but I'm going to do some testing with a camera here and here to be able to show you the difference, as well as how I'm going to be recording my voice. After research on YouTube and various other places, I decided to buy this lavalier mic. This is a Movo ACM 400 that I've seen various motovloggers use and gave relatively good reviews for, and so I purchased one. It's relatively inexpensive, and so my intent is to take this and mount it inside the cheek pad exactly the way the Sena boom mic is mounted, inside this cheek pad and the inside of the hard part of the helmet, and then I'll run the wires out and run them up the back and into the camera. So that's the other thing I forgot to tell you about, is I bought a new GoPro Hero 10 with the media mod. That will allow this lavalier mic to plug directly into the media mod and allow me to record audio in that fashion. So the two configurations are going to be, again, mounted inside the cheek pad here, so I'll have dual mics in here, one for communicating with Roxy, one for recording audio for motovlogging. And I know wireless sounds like it's the way to go, but the quality of the audio, the intermittent problems with this style of camera and audio setup is just kind of more than I can bear. So we will do that. I will also be mounting the camera on the front and doing some testing there. And my intent there is to take this lavalier mic to mount it just up above this chin curtain, and that way it's secure and it will move with the camera, with the face shield, and all in one fell swoop. As it pertains to the mechanical attachment of the GoPro to your helmet, there's nothing really unique here. There's nothing new I can offer. It's been produced ad nauseum on YouTube on probably 50 or 60 different motovlogging channels out there all across the world. So again, there's nothing there to add. I would just say that the things that are unique for me is mounting on the side, trying to avoid using a half a dozen thumb screws, and then using specific hardened screws here that are with an Allen wrench that I can put in, and they don't extend, and because they're fixed. So now I can take this and slide it on and off, and it's always tightened in such a way that it's always in the proper position for me. I don't have to worry about things moving because I've got it tightened with hardened screws. And then up top, the only unique thing as it pertains to a modular helmet and the camera up top is just being able to open the helmet and not interfere with the camera. The only downside is when the camera's up here and the face shield is up, you've got to realize your field of view is going to be hampered by the face shield being up. With those two configurations, we'll be doing some testing, both visually and the audio from both positions. And I'll share that comparison with you. And then we'll come back and I'll share some closing thoughts. Okay, so my next option is if I do a mount on the top of the helmet, I'm going to have to secure my wire, and then I'm going to have to probably use some Gorilla Tape or some Velcro and attach it on down the back like this, and then you can see I've got it plugged into the media mod here. In that case, we would run the mic and mount it inside the cheek pad. This is probably going to be the best mounting location going forward because of the fact that again, the bikes, I've got those fairings up there, and so I'll have to run this like so. So I'll have to mount that like same way I do the Sena, and then we'll put the dead cat on it. And then we'll use it like that. We're going to test it out on both scenarios and both locations and see how they look and how they sound. Putting the lavalier mic inside of the face shield that moves up and down on a modular helmet is routing the wire from the inside and up to the back of the camera. Now I've seen various folks take and punch holes in the chin curtain, route it around in other ways, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this chin curtain out a little bit and try to route my wire through one of these holes and hopefully not damage any of the wire, and then put the chin curtain back in. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. So the mic, once we get it mounted inside here, and then I'll secure it with probably some Gorilla Tape or something to make it a very clean install. Then we'll come back and put the dead cat on the mic, and then again route the wire back up through here into the back of the camera. So I think I can do it like this. So I can fish that through there and give myself enough slack to reach the camera, and then I can take and feed this chin curtain back into place like that. Okay, and so now I can route this up and put it into the back of the GoPro, and then take in between the face shield and the chin curtain. And then I've got my Movo mic secured inside the face shield that raises up and down. It's all self-contained into the front portion of the helmet. So this is a little test with the lavalier mic. I've got my windshield open, and the sound of the bike, the sound of the wind. We'll run it a little bit here. I'll pick up the speed, and then we'll take it and close the face shield and see how quiet it gets. So just running through the gears and testing this little lavalier mic. Okay, so let's close down the windshield here and see if we can get a little better sound. It sounds a little muffled to me in my own ears, but maybe for the camera recording it'll get us some pretty good sound as a motovlog setup. So I'm thinking that with this and the chin curtain tied up against the bottom of my chin, we've probably got some pretty good sound. Again, just the hassle of trying to look in a mirror, make sure I'm recording. I think what I'll do is take the GoPro, a quick app, put it here, mount my phone here so that I can, can see what I'm recording. I think for long-term use, I'm going to need to have me a little remote here on my handlebar. Alright, so I'm fixing to run up on the interstate and see what kind of sound quality we can get. Kick the speed up about 60, 70, 80 mile an hour, and let's see how clear this motovlog setup is going to function. Alright, so I've kicked it up to 80 miles an hour. I'm having a little trouble hearing myself, to be quite honest. But I'm really curious about the quality of sound, the level of wind noise, just how functional this is at this high speed. Alright, so let's peel off, slow it down, and do some comparison. Okay, so now this is a little more typical riding, 40 to 50 mile an hour range. My guess is this is going to sound pretty good, I hope. I want it to be my go-to vlogging setup. So we'll slow it down to about 30 to 35 through this community. Okay, so we're riding about 25-30 miles an hour. Testing the sound, the audio here. And really hoping this works out. Really hoping this becomes a good setup for me. So there's two things I want to test out on this ride. One is the camera position down on this chin mount, opposite the fairing here, just to see how much clearance I can get or how much visibility.
The second thing I want to test is just the audio of the new microphone mounted up in this face shield. And my guess is I'm going to get some pretty good sound because of the test yesterday when I had the camera up on top of the helmet. So this is a route that me and Roxy take pretty often when we just need to get out and take about a 1 hour, hour and a half ride just to get out of the house, just to chill out some. So we're going to head up over this canyon into another little community on the other side in the valley. So I'm continuing our audio and video test here. We're heading up around the lake in this valley. Should get some really nice views of the water. Then we'll head up over into the ski resort area. Wow, that sun's really bright and strong, but it's nice. I wonder how that's going to be picked up in the camera based on the settings I've got it set on. Oh yeah, look at the lake. I'm glad it's finally got some more water to run off. They had that thing so low in the summertime. You know, all these drought conditions out here in the west are just really causing havoc. There's turkeys. See all them turkeys? I think those are no, those are geese, aren't they? I don't know what they are. Oh man, I couldn't tell what they were. Yeah, the sun was in my eyes. I couldn't see anything hardly until I saw these big birds walking on the road.
Let me end this video with a summary of my test results. And we'll start off with test number 1, where I had the microphone in the cheek pad opposite the Sena microphone, and then I had the camera on top of the helmet. I know that we'll never go out motovlogging at very high speeds, but I kicked this off, and just as a gauge of comparison, I ran the bike up to 70, 80 miles an hour just to get a worst case scenario with that configuration. Obviously, I'll never do any motovlogging at that kind of speed. What I found that when I'm running it in the 50, 55 mile an hour range, the sound is really quite good. And then obviously when I slowed it on down into some of the neighborhood riding, 35 in that range, again, very good sound. So I think that's a really good setup. When I took the microphone and moved it inside the face shield, just above the chin curtain, and mounted the camera down on the chin, which is typical of most motovloggers, the sound was reasonably well at lower speeds. Obviously, you've always got to be careful with your wind conditions, regardless of where your camera's mounted and where your microphone is attached to the helmet. You'd never really go out motovlogging with really extreme conditions. But that particular setup, quality of the sound was a little bit less than what I'd prefer. In addition, what I found was that particular camera position down on the chin, riding these bikes with these fairings, is, you know, that camera position is probably good for some B-roll. It's not the best position for normal motovlogging when I'm trying to give a view of where I'm riding. There's no doubt that with a camera on top and the microphone mounted in the cheek pad, that's the best for me. I think that's a very good sound, and I think that's the best way to go. Now, you know, I kicked this video off showing you some wireless configurations that I've been using for many years. The sound quality is not as good for a wireless configuration, again, one that dates back to 2014. When I'm trying to dual vlog with Roxy, it's really the only alternative I have at this point in time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the way I've configured it, please leave your comments down below. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and join me and Roxy on our next video. So y'all come get on the road and go with us.